Yeah. What's happening, everybody? Jonathan and I were talking a little bit about some core values today. I've come up with this list of core values for the company that is being born this very moment in time. And as that company grows, it will grow over a long period of time because slow and low, that is a tempo. But as that company grows, we're going to need a compass, to be able to keep us pointing in the right direction. And so I'm going to include some pieces from Jonathan and I's conversation today. And then at the end, I'll go through all of the core values on a separate video by myself to make sure that I'm practicing as many times going through it myself. Because, it's one thing to write some stuff down and think about it, but it's another thing to enact it in your life and actually make it part of who you are, make it part of the very fabric of your being. And that's going to take some time. That's going to take multiple, months and years to be able to get that to where it's fully ingrained. So I'll talk a little bit more about it. I just want to give a quick intro. Thank you all for tuning in today. And here we go.
You want to provide value in every aspect of your life, right? And then, I think you can find that value, by empowering others and having leadership and communication skills. Because, you need to show the people what you mean.
Yeah. What do you mean?
So I'm specifically talking about the values, right, that you have set for your company. You have to, through action, show what those values are all about and show you how they're going to provide success. Because you want your values basically in line up so it can help create success, in all aspects of your business, right? Because there's a lot of little things. It's complex. So you can always show people better than you can tell them. A lot of times when you tell people some things, that's a great thing to bring up because that right there is showing the action behind your values, your beliefs, your kind of guidelines of creating empowerment and running a business, company, and a team.
Yeah. So we were talking about values.
Action.
So I'll use values versus actions. And am I going straight back into am I going to repeat the same behavior pattern as federal? Okay, so what does this mean?
Creating is action and motion.
Here's the thing, and this is kind of part of the action, and this is one of the tools that I'm trying to envision here as a way to communicate these values in a more efficient way than just memorizing, 5 letters and what they stand for. This is something that you don't have to memorize it. You need to understand it.
Exactly.
So why is humility and benevolence next to each other? Why does it say humility creates benevolence? How does that work? Okay, so that's benevolence. So why does humility beget benevolence? Well, because if you're humble, then you're going to be able to provide that value or do those positive actions for people, and you're not going to need anything in return because you're humble. You know that you're just a cog in the wheel, just another employee at the company, right?
You know what word I think about when we're speaking about this right here?
What?
Ego.
Ego. Yes, exactly. Humility is the opposite of ego.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But then, your ego will get in the way of a lot of things and kind of cancels out benevolence.
Yes. Ego definitely gets in the way and causes all kinds of problems.
Sure.
So then going into the next one, gratitude creates service. So why does gratitude create service? So gratitude, if you really are in a sense of gratitude,
straight up, yes,
you're so grateful that you want to give something
others.
back.
Yes.
And so the act of service, like true service, benevolent service, is giving something back without asking anything in return.
Right.
So again, that's 2 in the same point.
So I just saw the first one correlates with the second.
Correct.
The second line there.
So now they're starting to connect back and forth. Now, adaptability and productivity, what we just say a second ago, do more with less, right? Can you be adaptable to any kind of situation that's going on?
Right.
Oh, there's external factors that are affecting our business. The economy's bad. Okay, so how do we adapt? The companies that adapt are the ones that survive. And they can only survive because they've adapted to the environment so they can continue to produce. Adaptability begets productivity.
Right.
Right. So if you're adaptable, you can continue adapting to whatever environment that you possibly find yourself.
Let me ask you a question. So how can one be more adaptable to any situations that might occur.
Remove ego.
Yep.
Stay humble.
Yep.
And have gratitude.
It's going to help you be productive and able to adapt to that even that much better.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
You know, because like, what does David Goggins say? Right? Why does he callous his mind? Why does he suffer as much as he does?
So he'll be ready.
He'll be ready, right? So if he gets that call in the middle of the night that his mom died, you know, not only is he going to save the despair for him personally, but he's also going to be able to be there for the other parts of his family, right? That need help and strength because, you know, maybe they're not able to adapt, right? So he's being benevolent by, you know, preparing himself so he can adapt to any situation.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Provide a service to others at the same time.
So those are all connecting together.
Right.
Those are the first three right there. And then,
Right.
and the next one is a very David Goggins type of core value, which is persistence.
Be relentless.
Persistence creates results, because if you don't have persistence, and then you're going to quit right before you get there, or you're going to quit at some point before you get to the actual result, and then you're not going to be able to produce. Persistence is a limitless fuel. Persistence is like the ability to generate limitless energy.
Right. Okay.
Because you're going at this constant pace.
Yeah.
And it's like what Bruce Lee says about water, right? Water is the softest stuff in the world, but it'll break down rock. So that type of persistence is what we're looking for, and that's what creates results. And so that's the fourth value. And then the last one brings all of those together, right? The last one is discipline. It creates cultivation. And the reason why it creates cultivation, so what does that even mean? What is cultivation? Cultivation is the creation of more empowered people. Yeah, it is maybe sometimes skipping through fields of daisies when the time is right and holding hands, but cultivation is actually the growth of more empowered people.
Yeah, it's creating. It's with the people around your surroundings, right?
Yeah,
you're creating a like-minded mindset.
Yes, completely.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, within a group, people to cultivate that culture. Yeah.
So self-discipline, what it does is it makes you into the example, right? If you're living the path and you're walking the path and you're doing all of these things that are the four preceding values, and you're creating the four preceding results of those values, someone's going to go, hey, look at that guy. Look what he's doing. I want that. When you can do that and you have that discipline, now you have the ability to reach out and touch somebody and actually cultivate that person.
Mm.
And because they want the cultivation, and you can't teach somebody who doesn't want to be taught. And then you go back to that top down, right? Yeah. Tyrannical type nonsense, which doesn't work in the long term. So what you want is to build long-term gains with long-term people, right?
Yeah.
That's Naval Ravikant. He wants to look at everything as an investment, your time investment with people that you work with, people that you're friends with, your relationships with your family. Those are all investments of time. The same way that you would invest money into a bank account and you would get, your 5% return on that year over year. And then you would start assets into more assets.
Right.
Darn it. Help me. Oh yeah, we're having fun. We're having fun in here today. We're having fun. That's one of the core values that I didn't write down on this list of core values that I'm finna talk about to y'all. How's everybody doing today? That was my little opening routine. I try to do something funny. I don't know. All right, so let's get into it. As we go through the core values here, you're going to notice that I said there's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it looks like there's 10, but the ones on the left are the value, and then the ones on the right, the ones on the left are the value, the ones on the right are the result, or they're what that value allows to come into the world. So starting with humility, if you're humble, you're not going to be passing judgment on anyone. You're going to have an empty cup. You have an open mind, the Zen call the beginner's mind. So you're going to be able to learn, and you're going to be able to teach everyone at every level. You're not just going to be the guy who I just only train CEOs. Well, I can train the CEO, and I can train the dishwasher, and I can train anybody in between. Because you're talking to people at that level, and there's a sense of equal or fair treatment in there. There's a benevolence that is created by a state of humility. And so if you're humble and your people in the company are maintaining their humility and staying humble, well, you're going to have an opportunity for benevolence to be able to grow and blossom. So you're going to be able to cultivate benevolence. So if you go into gratitude, if you really have a clear state of gratitude and you're very grateful for everything that you have, and you wake up and you have, beans don't burn on the kitchen and fish don't fry on the grill, and you're grateful for it, and you're grateful to be wherever you're at, whether you're in a 1-bedroom apartment or whether you're in a 4-bedroom house or a 10-bedroom house or whatever. If you have gratitude, if you have true gratitude, that's going to arise within yourself the desire to give back. You're going to have space to be able to give because you're going to feel abundant. You're going to feel like, I'm grateful I have a lot, and I'm very happy to have so much and be blessed with what I have. Let me give something back to the community. Let me give something back to these people that are around me. Let me give something back to the people who believed in me, who helped me get to the position where I am today. So you're going to be more likely to be of service. So if you have gratitude, that's naturally going to create a state of service. And if people in the company practice gratitude, it's much more likely they're going to be able to cultivate service within that community or within that company as well. Going on to adaptability. Adaptability is a very important, this is like the heart of the business, because we need to be productive. The business runs on money. That money has to be produced somehow. And so we produce that by providing whatever service or product that we're bringing to the marketplace. Now, if the marketplace shifts and suddenly nobody's going out to eat fine dining and they only want tacos and hamburgers and pizza, and we're a fine dining restaurant, can we adapt ourselves to go from 11 Madison Park to Shake Shack? Well, yes, we should be able to adapt to be able to pick up the slack on those companies so you can balance it out. And once you're adaptable, you're going to create productivity anywhere you go. Another way of saying this is to do more with less. So as a starting out entrepreneur, I had to do this. I was trained to do this actually by my mentor when we did the food truck. And that's really where it started teaching me how to be able to actually make more with less. Because we were just buying the cheapest ingredients we could get, basically treating them really well, presenting them in a really nice way. And then we were charging what the market would actually pay for them. Instead of undervaluing ourselves, we were valuing ourselves right in appropriate level. And so what that did was we were able to take a lot less of the products and then be able to make a lot more out of those products. So it was a great lesson from that. And I've carried that on through to other projects as well. If the company is consisted of adaptable people who can adapt to any situation, then they're going to be able to cultivate in that company a sense of productivity, and not just a sense, but actual productivity that's going to go onto the ledger sheets of that company as product. That brings us directly into persistence and results. Now, so you can be adaptable and you can produce, but sometimes it'll feel like you're just spinning your wheels because things take time. Good things take time, and good things take consistency, which is actually another way of saying discipline. So if you can provide consistency and you can be persistent in that provision of consistency, then eventually you're going to attain results. You can go and be adaptable and produce, and you can be running your race car around all the laps. But if you don't make it to that last lap and your car breaks down and you just say, oh, I didn't make it, my car broke down. You got to be like Ricky Bobby, and you got to get out of that car and you got to run across that damn finish line. You got to figure out how to get across that finish line. And that's persistence. And that's what creates the actual ultimate results. And that's what's actually going to take that productivity that you're creating, and it's going to make it actually a solid measurable. And that's going to take care of your investment team, which allows you to actually function as a company, as an entity. And so if you have a company that's consisted of people who are persistent, then that company is going to be able to cultivate strong results. Going into the last and most important one, the last one here is discipline. And I said just a minute ago that discipline was the same as consistency. And it kind of is. Discipline is a sort of consistency that has a very specific purpose, which is that discipline is the ability to consistently stick to a positive, impactful set of actions or a habit. So if you can install that habit in yourself, you're going to have to install that habit in yourself by using discipline and by using consistency across time. Yeah. So the discipline is actually what creates cultivation. And here, when we're talking about cultivation, we're talking about cultivating individuals and creating empowered individuals. So we're wanting to create a sense of what Jocko Willink calls decentralized command. These are some of his rules that he lays out in Extreme Ownership and Dichotomy of Leadership, which are some fantastic books. If you guys haven't read, definitely highly recommend both of those. Anything from Jocko is fantastic. And, he says discipline equals freedom. That's kind of one of his taglines, one of his mantras. If you follow a disciplined financial plan, at the end of that, you're going to have a lot of financial freedom because you're going to save a big chunk, or you're going to earn a big chunk, or you're going to create a mechanism that creates more value or leverage. So you're going to actually have a lot more financial freedom at the end of the day after you use whatever that financial system is that you decide to use. As long as you stick to it consistently and you're disciplined about doing it, you're going to produce those results. And the result in our case here that discipline is going to produce is that when you have a group of disciplined people, if you imagine you have a company that consists entirely of highly disciplined people who show that they use their discipline to actually make themselves better and they make themselves example for those around them, now you have an environment that cultivates cultivation. It cultivates self-empowerment. And the real way to find success, the real way to find whatever you define as success, is by self-empowerment. If you disempower yourself or you allow yourself to be pushed around by whatever internal urges and desires that you have, rather than sticking to the discipline of creating that person that you envision yourself to be, that best self, that best version of yourself, well, you're unfortunately at that point, you're just a slave to your lower urges and desires, and you're not really going to get very far. You're going to have a ceiling on what your actual success level is going to be. And that doesn't have to mean financial success. Some people are very financially successful, but they don't feel like they have a very high level of success, and they're very depressed, and they have family problems, and they don't actually have the happiness that they were sort of promised themselves when they went after these goals of trying to get rich. So it's not about being rich, it's about being successful. And the way to be successful is actually to cultivate within yourself a sense of self-worth. You do that by disciplining yourself, doing the right things that you know that the best version of yourself is going to do. Akira the Don has a fantastic track that features Joe Rogan where he says, you've got to be the hero of your own story. Imagine that your life was a movie and that you're the hero of that movie. Just do what the hero of that movie would do. And the movie starts now. It doesn't matter when you're listening to this. This is the moment when the movie starts. So I just wanted to go through the core values so that I could practice going through the core values. I'm working on all these. I'm not perfect on any of these at all. I'm working towards, implementing all of these into my life every day. I'm not going to stop working on implementing these into my life every day because, the perfection is a journey, not a goal, not a location, so we're going to keep on moving towards these. And I think these are pretty well thought out. The system of installing those core values throughout the group of people that's working in the company is that they have to actually understand how these things work together. Why do these 5 core values exist? Why do we have those in the company? Well, why do we have gratitude as a core value? What are we trying to do? Well, we're trying to provide service. Okay, so where's your sense of service? Are you grateful? What were you grateful for today? They're sort of coaching tools, and guideposts to be able to give us a compass heading to be able to get us into a place where we can create a benevolent company that's of service to our community, that's productive, creates results for our investors, and cultivates a culture of growth and self-empowerment. That's it for today. Thank y'all for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the core values that we've got here. If you have any questions about it, if you have any suggestions or any ideas, I'm definitely open to listening to all of that. Would love to hear back from everybody who's out there listening. Appreciate y'all for watching. Don't hold your breath. You got this.